The basic structure of protein is a chain of these amino acids, and you need protein in your diet in order to help your body repair cells and, you guessed it, make new ones. Now, the main difference here between the conventional grocery store meat that you see at your store and pasture-raised organic meat include how the animals are raised, what they're fed, and the overall impact on the environment and health. Also, keep in mind, like over 90% of the meat you find in the grocery store is what I'm going to be referring to as conventional meat. You're listening to Wake Up and Read the Labels, your guide to eating simple and feeling good. If you want to eat clean and feel your best, guess what? You're in the right place. Each week, we talk about ingredients that may be holding you back from feeling your best. We also talk to some brands that are going against the grain and actually using real ingredients we can recognize. Plus, we're sharing stories with people who are just like you, who actually woke up and read the labels. Welcome to Wake Up and Read the Labels. How many of you out there are trying to eat more protein? And maybe you feel like you are getting your labs done and you're noticing some deficiencies. Well, this particular episode is going to help you understand where to get some amino acids for muscle building, repair cells, help your body build new ones, get more anti-inflammatory protein. We're diving into raising methods between conventional meat and pasture-raised organic meat, plus feeding practices, what these cows are eating. You are what your cow eats, plus use of antibiotics and hormones on conventional versus pasture-raised meat and the environmental impact. So you don't want to miss this episode. Tune on in. Are you wanting to eat better, but this clean eating thing's just a bit overwhelming? Maybe you just don't know what to cook, or you don't know how to find the clean product swaps at the grocery store. Well, I want to make this simple for you. You can get clean swaps and an anti-inflammatory recipe delivered to your inbox every Saturday by going to thelabelletter.com. Let's talk about what every cell in the human body contains. Do you guys know? It contains protein. The basic structure of protein is a chain of these amino acids, and you need protein in your diet in order to help your body repair cells and, you guessed it, make new ones. Now, the main difference here between the conventional grocery store meat that you see at your store and pasture-raised organic meat include how the animals are raised, what they're fed, and the overall impact on the environment and health. Here's a breakdown of the key differences. And also keep in mind, like over 90% of the meat you find in the grocery store is what I'm going to be referring to as conventional meat, okay? Conventional meat are animals who are often raised in these large industrial farms known as CAFO, concentrated animal feeding operations. If you're ever driving through middle America and you'll see like all these cows are just crowded together, it smells awful. You got to turn, your air condition where it just ventilates on the inside, doesn't pull any air from the outside. Everybody's got to roll up the windows. Kids and I, we're all putting our face in our sweatshirt. We're like, oh my God, that smell is terrible. That is not good farming practices for animals. Now, here's why. They're usually kept in these confined spaces where there's little room to move. They probably don't have access to pastures, and they're raised indoors for most of their lives. Now, a lot of these animals, you guys, when you pass these pastures, the pastures are dead. Like literally the soil is dead. There's no green grass anywhere. It's very sad. And if you think about it, think about taking a human being and keeping them indoor all the time so they don't get sun, they don't get exercise. And we're going to be diving into what they're eating. Okay. They're eating not good things. Well, what kind of animal you're going to get? You're going to make this animal fat, sure, so they can make more money, but you are what your cow eats. So if they're feeding them things to make them fat, guess what? It's going to make you fat. They are also, when you have an animal that's kept inside, that gets no exercise and is fed a bad diet, even for humans, that becomes a sick animal, right? Their muscles are not full of good things. They are just, you don't want to be eating that, okay? Now, pasture raised meat is animals raised on these open pastures. So they have access to the fresh air, the sunlight, the space to roam. They're allowed to engage in natural behaviors such as grazing, foraging, socializing. This makes for a happier animal, right? Their meat's going to be more tender. Their meat's going to be healthier. It's going to have the building blocks your body needs. They have access to organic land often where they can graze on grass or other plants without synthetic fertilizers or pesticides. Now, what are these animals eating? Conventional, the stuff at the grocery store. It's typically fed a grain based diet. What do I mean? Corn and soy. That is intended to fatten them up quickly. And if you go to the grocery store and you read 100% grass fed, most of the times they're 70% grass fed, but the last 20% they feed them those grains to really fatten them up. So you have to dive into the brand, see if it's truly grass fed and finished. Okay. These grains, as well, the corn and soy, they may be treated with pesticides or fertilizers. They can contain antibiotics or growth hormones to promote faster growth. Therefore, you need to go to the website of that particular brand and see, are they fed grains? Do they eat corn and soy? You don't want that. You want pasture raised organic. This means the animal has been eating grass the entire time, and it mostly consists of plants grown without synthetic chemicals. The feed must be organic, meaning it has no pesticides, no herbicides, no GMOs. That's what when you're buying organic, you're like, all right, we have no pesticides, no herbicides, no GMOs. Antibiotics and growth hormones are never used on organic meat production. Okay. So it's kind of like a third party testing. You can trust that. So it's a little better. But organic doesn't mean that it eats grass. You got to make sure that you are finding grass fed and finished meat. Okay. Some of my favorite brands are Force of Nature at the grocery store. Also, Holy Cow is one. We have an affiliate code we can put at the bottom. Use of antibiotics and hormones, conventional meat. Animals have been routinely given antibiotics to prevent disease. Why? Because they're in this crowded space. They're all on top of each other, unsanitary conditions. Hormones are administered to promote faster growth, increase productivity. They are running like not a puppy mill, they're running a cow mill. They need to get rid of these cows. They need turnaround, right? They need numbers. They need more. Pasture raised organic meat means antibiotics and hormones are not allowed in organic meat. Animals are raised in healthier environments with less need for medications because why? They live in a cleaner condition and they're less stressed. So they're going to get sick less. Okay. So that should tell you a lot. The conventional stuff need to be treated because they are mistreated. Whereas the grass fed and finished pasture raised organic, they're not mistreated. They're going to be healthier and you will be too. The environmental impact in conventional industrial farming methods lead to higher levels of pollution, including waste runoff that contaminates water supplies. The carbon footprint can be a significant due to the invasive use of resources like they're using water, land, and grain feed. Okay. It's a big carbon footprint if you're into that. Now, pasture raised means the land is managed with sustainability in mind. They rotate grazing. So they might have the cows in one spot one day and they're moving them so they can preserve the soil health so that the natural mother nature can reign and take care of it and it can just function how it's supposed to. Okay. Clean eating is confusing. Let's make it simple. I got you covered with my new Read the Labels app. Just head to the App Store, search for Read the Labels app, and start scanning your groceries to see if they're clean or not clean. Are you confused at the grocery if something's clean or not clean? Well, guess what? Now you can head to the App Store and download Read the Labels app. Scan your groceries and see if they're clean or not clean instantly. Pasture raised organic typically has a lower environmental impact, including reduced pollution and greenhouse gas emissions compared to the grocery conventional meat. Now, taste and nutrition. You can tell the difference between grocery store meat and pasture raised. Pasture raised is just, it tastes so much tender and better. It has a more favorable and flavor. Nutrition profile, because it has higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids, vitamins, antioxidants due to a varied diet and better living conditions. Whereas the conventional meat at the grocery, it has higher fat content, so you'll see a lot more marbling. The meat's less flavorful, and the nutrition profile is highly affected by the feed and the way the animal's raised. Now, cost, yeah, the stuff at the grocery store is going to be cheaper. It is. Why? Because of that industrial farming process. They're running that cow mill. They know how to keep the costs and the practices down. And large production generally gives you lower costs, okay? They have these methods where they can do large scale. Where pasture raised, it's got to be expensive, you guys. They got more labor intensive farming methods. They have limited scale and they have higher cost of organic feed. But you know where you're going to save money? You're going to eat less food because now you got more nutrition in your body. You're going to have less cravings. You're going to meet your nutritional needs better. So maybe you can, get off of some medication. You're going to have more energy in your day to do better. Maybe you get a promotion. Maybe your connections with people get better and you're just happier, right? In summary, you guys, pasture-raised meat typically offers more ethical, environmental, health benefits. It does come as a higher cost. Your grocery store meat can be more affordable, but it's going to involve compromises in your animal welfare, environmental sustainability, potential health impacts due to the use of hormones, antibiotics, and the nasty feeding practices such as corn, soy, GMO, right? You don't want that. So next time you go to the grocery store, organic's better. Even better, grass-fed organic. Even better, pasture-raised organic meat. I hope this message finds you well and you have learned some things. And next time you get some meat, you know exactly what to look for. That's my intention. Don't remove the meat from your life, but understand which meat you should be getting, because a lot of the meat at the store is working against us and not for us. If you want to scan your meats, go to the Read the Labels app in the App Store, and you can scan every food item and see if it's clean or not clean. Also, if you want a clean anti-inflammatory meal delivered to your inbox every week, head to thelabelletter.com. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for listening to this episode of Wake Up and Read the Labels. If you like this episode, guess what? We want you to share it. We'd love that. Share it with a friend and leave us a review. You can subscribe in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or really wherever you're listening to your podcast. For more information, visit us at wakeupandreadthelabels.com.